What up, everybody? Welcome to the No Face Podcast. And I want to talk about this Shedeur Sanders situation from the beginning to the end, man. Because everybody got a lot to say. You got a lot of NFL players. To me, when you talk about football, NFL players is experts. And I see majority of football players saying one thing, and I see if you got a job, I see some people, I see some players saying something else. If the NFL employs you, then you saying something else. But this is what I see, man. First off, we know Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward had the same quarterback coach. Do anybody know that, right? Select quarterback was both of their coaches. You used to always see Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders working out together. And when you see them working out together, neither one of them was, they both was really good. That's number one. Leading up to the draft, most of the experts said that Shedeur Sanders him and Travis Hunter were supposed to go either 1 or 2 in the draft. Let's keep it 100. That's what they were saying. And then Dion went on something and said that he gonna try to, like, if he don't want Shedeur or Travis to go somewhere, then they ain't going. And the NFL took that personal. First off, people already was taking it personal on how Deion Sanders took over college football. People always taking that personal. So when Deion said that, the NFL took that personal. That's why in that one video, when you hear it's they at the Super Bowl and you hear Shedeur Sanders talking to the commissioner of the NFL, what Shedeur Sanders didn't catch on to was the commissioner of the NFL said, "We worried about your pops though." Shedeur didn't catch on to that right there. He said, "We worried about your pops though." And then something else too. What coach in the NFL want to draft a Sanders kid when their job could be in jeopardy by just doing that? Because we know Deion Sanders is box office. At the end of the day, Dylan Gabriel said he a competitor and he ain't an entertainer, but at the end of the day, money is what moves in the NFL. So, and then Shedeur was when they was interviewing Shedeur and all that, Shedeur was saying things like, if you want to change your program, you should draft me. If you don't want nothing to change, then don't draft me. Basically, he was just being confident about his ability. And then the draft come around. And Shedeur dropped all the way to the 144th pick in the 5th round. When everybody in the world thought he was going to go in the 1st, but definitely he was going to go in the 2nd or late 1st. And when that didn't happen, everybody started talking about it. So everybody started screaming out conspiracy. And when you be hearing certain people that work for the NFL and all that, and you hear them in interviews, and you hear them when somebody asks them about the conspiracy theory, and then you hear them say, "Man, I don't think so. I don't think that." You got to understand, they employed by the NFL, man. They can't speak bad about the NFL. They're employed by the NFL. But anybody outside of that pro players, ex-pro players, Hall of Famers, all saying that it was conspiracy. Now, we know a couple days ago, Eric Dickerson said something like he got it from a real reliable, very, very reliable source that the NFL told people not to draft Shedeur Sanders. We're going to make an example out of him and his dad. Which is effed up, man. But what the NFL didn't understand was they didn't know how they didn't know how big Shedeur's fan base was. That's what they didn't know. They thought it was just some Colorado fans. But it wasn't. And then he got more fans after people seeing what they put him through. A lot of people jumped on the Shedeur Sanders bandwagon after thinking he'd been mistreated by the NFL and bullied by the NFL. You know, so they underestimated that. So Eric Dickerson said somebody called the Browns and told the Browns, don't do him like that, draft him, man. So the Browns drafted him. And this is what people ain't telling you. Whenever the Browns owner came out and said that it wasn't his decision to draft Shedeur, and he blamed it on the GM, Barry, he was saying to the NFL, because the NFL told everybody not to draft him, he was reiterating to the NFL that he ain't the one that drafted him. That's what he was doing. Everybody saying he was doing something else, but what people didn't know was that he was responding back to the NFL saying, look, man, I ain't drafted him. My GM did. Because he was still trying to be in the good graces of the NFL. So that's why he said that. Shedeur come in, he get drafted by Cleveland Browns in the 5th round, 44th pick. He come in the rookie mini camp, and you know he practicing and all that, and then real mini camp come around. And then when real mini camp came around, Shedeur was not getting no reps. The lies being told by Stefanski was that this was going to be a quarterback battle. They even came, the Cleveland Browns even got a documentary about the quarterback battle that wasn't a quarterback battle. Because when you have a quarterback battle, what you're doing is you seeing everybody being on a level playing field. And everybody getting reps with the ones and the twos, and just like that. Well, Shedeur Sanders never had reps with the ones and the twos. Never to this day. Even after everybody was saying the way he was balling at practice, the way Dylan Gabriel was everybody was, I'm talking about people from Cleveland, was saying Dylan Gabriel was looking garbage. He not an NFL quarterback. And Shedeur looked way better than him at practice and all this. That still didn't move Shedeur Sanders up the chart. Then what happened was Dylan Gabriel and Pickett had hamstring injuries, and they didn't want to play Flacco in the preseason yet. So what they had to do was they had to play Shedeur, but they had to play Shedeur at least with the twos. And when Shedeur came out there with them twos, you know, he had some mistakes, but he looked good all around. To the point where everybody was saying, see, he ain't no 5th round draft pick. He might not be no 1st overall draft pick, but he definitely ain't a 5th round draft pick. And everybody was taking a victory lap. And then it just got loud in Cleveland, where the fans and everybody was saying Shedeur. So after that game in the preseason that he did good, everybody thought that he should get more reps with the ones and twos because he looked good in the preseason game. But after that preseason game, he still was fourth on the depth chart. He was fourth on the depth chart, and Kenny Pickett was second on the depth chart, even though he ain't played no preseason games or nothing. So, come the second, Shedeur tore his oblique muscle. So he couldn't play in the second preseason game, which was a bummer for Shedeur, because he needed to back up what he did in the first. So to come around to the third preseason game, this was the dress rehearsal. Joe Flacco went out first, looked it good. Dylan Gabriel went out second, looked it good. He had some errant throws and all that, but overall he looked it good, you know. Then when Shedeur come on the field, everybody that was out there with Dylan Gabriel went and sat down, and they put the people that's probably gonna get cut in a couple of days out there with Shedeur. And everybody said that Shedeur looked it bad. Okay. The things that Shedeur struggled with in college was holding on to the ball too long and running backwards, always trying to make a play out of nothing. So if you want to manufacture Shedeur looking bad, what do? You put him in a game with an offensive line like he had in college. And you know, you put him out there with receivers that really ain't receivers. Like the first person he threw a pass to was a dude that, if you look at the roster sheet in the Cleveland Browns and ESPN, he ain't even on the roster. Now look, man, let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something. Everybody say, do we think it's a big conspiracy, this and that? You goddamn well it is. You goddamn right it is, man. Because people still saying Shedeur Sanders is better than Dylan Gabriel. If you'd have let me tell you something, man. First of all, let's say this. Any quarterback that you'd have put out there with that line that Shedeur was out there with, and they knew that they had to produce, and they knew that the person that they supposed to be battling with just went and did real good, of course bad tendencies gonna pop out. But if you really want to be technical, the Cleveland Browns were supposed to develop Shedeur to get out of that. But my thing is, why would you put, like, if this is a fair quarterback battle, why you ain't putting him out there with the same players that Dylan Gabriel had? Why is you see the line bad? Why is you running routes that take too long to develop? And then after all that went bad, they took Shedeur out and didn't let him get a chance to try to win the game on the last drive, 2-minute drive. So what was all that about? That right there convinced me that it was conspiracy. That's what convinced me was. Because you didn't want Shedeur, because guess what you got to do in a 2-minute drill? You got to run quick routes and the ball got to come out quick. Stephen Stefanski didn't even want Shedeur to do that. After you just called on, as you just made him look, manufacture him to look bad, man. Like, I don't know why people think people stupid, man. Why the NFL think we all stupid, think people ain't watching? We got NFL players saying that they sabotage Shedeur. These is experts. You got NFL players saying this. We ain't talking about no Joe Blow off the street like me. We talking about NFL experts saying they sabotage Shedeur. By the plays they was running and who they put him on the field with. And then everybody think they ain't gonna cut Shedeur because they're making too much money off of him, man. They ain't gonna cut him. They also ain't gonna cut him because they know he really that. They know he really that. They ain't about to let him go somewhere else and get with a first team offense and kill the league, and then they look bad again as the Cleveland Browns, the quarterback killers. They definitely ain't gonna let that happen. But my thing is, if any other quarterback would have looked that bad, he would be getting cut in a couple days. Why Shedeur Sanders ain't getting cut? Two reasons. They know he that. They know he really good. And that money, man. Let's just keep it 100. You hear all these people out in Cleveland. I feel like Cleveland fans, I'm going to keep it 100. No disrespect to Garrett Bush or my man with the dreads, or none of that. But I'm sorry that y'all Cleveland Browns fans, y'all don't have no right to speak on nothing about a quarterback. Y'all just don't have the right. Y'all haven't earned the right. Y'all have cheered on and miscalculated quarterbacks for over 40 years, man. Well, since Bernie Kosar. Y'all don't even have the right to be in the conversation. I don't care how long you've been a Cleveland fan. But if you're a real Cleveland fan, you'll want Shedeur to be your quarterback. Because what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. When you get out there with them real offense, when you get out there with them real defenses, Dillon Gabriel ain't gonna look that good. Because teams is going they're gonna cater to his disabilities. Teams gonna play to bat the ball down. They're gonna play to do that. Teams gonna play not to give him a pocket to look through because he can't look over it. Teams is gonna play to that. See, right now in the preseason, he getting away with a whole bunch of stuff. But when the regular season comes, teams is gonna look for the discrepancies he have, and they're gonna play to that, which is gonna make him look really bad. Really bad, because he don't have Murray speed. Like in Murray got speed out there in Arizona. He don't have that speed, man. But he did look good though. Dillon Gabriel did look good. I ain't gonna lie, he looked good, man. To be that short and all that, he really looked good, man. I give him that. But I also understand. I know Dillon Gabriel and the rest of them quarterbacks seen what they put Shedeur out there with, man. If I was on the Cleveland Browns team, if I was Myles Garrett or anybody that got a little say-so over there, I confront the coach about that shit, man. For the simple fact is, like, why you put the brother out there like that, man? Why y'all doing him like that? Seriously. Because if I was them, I'd be trying to get Shedeur fan base. That's more money in their pocket. Because Shedeur got more followers than Myles Garrett. And he the real star on the Cleveland team. I'm just saying though, man. I'm just saying though, man. It was a manufactured look bad. That's the way I see it. Especially how they ain't let him do the 2-minute drill. It was a manufactured for Shedeur Sanders to look bad. Period. Because if you like everybody say he hold on to the ball too long and he run backwards. If the line good, he ain't got to do none of that. Period. I'm out.